Welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast brought to you by the Draft Professors. Today we're joined by Draft Professors Dalton Gentry and Chris Connor. We're going to be going through some defensive line prospects for you. But before we do that, just kind of get warmed up. Dalton, it's been a little bit, probably a week since I've seen you. What's going on in your football world right now?
Looking at recruiting a lot now. Started on our quarterback list. Started from the bottom, and this 2027 class is looking great. And we're just start at the bottom 30, and there's already a lot of talent out there. So it's going to be exciting making that list. And then just watching on the coaches for my teams, Florida and the Giants, to see what coach is going to who we're going to get.
Who's your favorite to be the next Giants coach?
I mean, everybody's saying McCarthy. I would hate that, though. I think I like Kafka. If he finishes his year well, I mean, if we play like we did this week, and we want to lose right now. If we just lose every game competitively, like the Lions are supposed to be way better than us, right? They're favored by 14. So
cool. And Chris, how's it feeling to be a Chiefs fan after that win yesterday?
As I tweeted on one of the links I do for Chiefs lead, like that game gave me heartburn. It's like, okay, God damn it, I'm ready for them to lose. Do a Chiefs draft board, then they win. It's like it's a roller coaster ride. I can't take this here. God damn it, we need just wins. That basically are over by 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, not go overtime. Maybe we lose, maybe we win. I can't take it. So yeah, it's. I'm just glad they won, but God damn it, they're giving me heartburn here.
Well, I was watching that Chiefs game, and that was a fun game to watch. And I was definitely cheering for the Colts to lose. Buffalo needs a few teams ahead of them to lose in the standings. I have been cheering for the Chiefs the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I am comfortable admitting that on a podcast. But we are here to do some defensive linemen. So let me share what we've got in store for everybody tonight. So we have a few defensive linemen to go through. CJ Fight from Arizona State, Landon Robinson from Navy, Isaiah Smith from SMU, Ja'Shawn Barham from Michigan, Trey Moore from Texas, Anthony Lucas from USC, Will Heldt from Clemson, Gabe Jacas from Illinois, Tyreak Sapp from Florida, R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, Quincy Rhodes from Arkansas, and there's a good chance we might mention a few other players, if just in passing, as most of these guys have teammates that are in the draft too. But we're going to start with CJ Fight. Dalton, what did you see on the Arizona State defensive tackle?
This guy's been playing football for a long time for them. Had a good year last year. Not as good this year, but he's still been producing, and he's a good anchor against double teams. He has good pad level. Being 6'2", it helps a lot. And the good leverage, stones, walls, interior schemes. He has really violent hands at the snap, create immediate disruption, and he can reset the line of scrimmage in the backfield at times. He's really good at reading blocking schemes. You can read them quickly, and he can fill gaps, quick movements. Maintains gap integrity as well, 2 gapping. Good lateral mobility for his size. Straight down the line, he can chase outside zone runs pretty well. And he demonstrates excellent body control and good balance when he fights through the rush lane. Weakness is limited pass rush, though. Too heavy on the bull rush is about all he got right now. No counters when his initial rush stalls. And he's not that fast off the line. His initial burst is kind of slow. The O line can get his hands on him before they can get leverage. And he lacks closing speed and space. Well, I like him in the mid rounds, probably round 4. Just a solid D tackle, decent against the pass, decent against the run. Nothing outstanding, but good rotational guy.
Chris, where are you on CJ Fight?
There's a lot of potential. I mean, he's young. We forget that. He's only 20 years old. So, I mean, power there, and look, he has good lateral quickness in terms of quick side to side, but he's not a guy that can chase people down. So against TCU, he he had trouble against Josh Hoover because Hoover was able to just run around him and beat him with speed. I don't know. Arizona State's one of those teams where we thought they were going to be a lot better this year. They've disappointed a bit. He could go to mid-rounds. I could also see him come back because depending on what Arizona State does in the offseason, they could be a loaded team for Bear next year. So right now I have him as a 4th, 5th round grade, but he's a guy that, probably could go back to school for another year and then try his luck next year when he's at least 21 years old and works on getting quicker, more faster.
There was reports that Levitt was going to test the portal, look for a lot of money. Did you see that?
I did see that. That's you said. It's yes. He's testing it, aka give me my money.
Yeah.
Show me the money. Donald's like the same thing. You're with that other part. Like, yeah, I might go to the show if you pay me some extra bucks.
I don't think he's going to come back to Arizona State, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think they have the money. Somebody else is going to pay him because this kid is really good, I think, if he has some help.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay, so the next player, Landon Robinson from Navy, defensive tackle, 6 feet tall, 287 pounds. Impressive PFF grades, but that's not always the right measure. Chris, what do you think of Landon Robinson as an NFL prospect?
He is a unique player. He's 6 feet, 287 pounds. The good news is he has incredible quickness. He's supposed to run anywhere between a 4.9 to a 5 40-yard dash. He's on the Bruce Feldman Freaks list. He is a guy who can bench press about 465 pounds, squat 665. You watch him play, and he uses a lot of quickness to beat double teams. He has good functional strength and, against holding off of heavier linemen. Very smart player, understands, when there's pulls and traps. He is one of the leaders of Navy. And look, for a guy, he knows how to use what he has. You're worried about just Vova's size. Like, he is 6 feet tall. The arms are around 31, 32 inches. He's a squat guy. So this isn't like your usual 6'2", 325 defensive tackles we all fall in love with. I've seen a lot of people project him as a day 3 pick. Probably 6th or 7th round. It depends on the speed. If he runs faster, you'll see teams like the Steelers and Ravens go, hey, we can use him as a rotational nose tackle. He's smart. There's the Navy, there's that Naval Academy background where they're always going to play hard. They're professionals. They do their job. Can you overlook the fact that he is like a linebacker height with a very limited defensive end sort of size? But, I mean, look, people are going to root for him because he is a football player through and through.
Okay, Dalton, what do you think of Landon Robinson from Navy?
He's fun to watch for sure. Reminds you of Aaron Donald in college, but not quite as dominant. A little bit less dominant, of course. But he's just a freak athletic, really quick off the ball. He's got clocked at like 20 miles an hour, so he is really fast. He don't get to use open speed that much. It doesn't mean that much a D tackle, in my opinion. It's just about your quick twitch muscles. But he has that too. He's just athletic and basically every facet. Really strong. He has good football IQ too, man. He can read all the screens and he reads the blocking schemes and all that stuff really well. He has good motor and it's really hard to get under him. 6 foot 287. Yeah, he has short arms, but he wins the leverage battle almost every place because he's fast off the ball and it's hard for the lineman to get to his chest. And he's just really good against the pass. Size limitations. He's not for everybody. And he's going to be a pass rush and D tackle. And that's about it. He struggles against double teams and he's always going to, but I think he's definitely draftable. We won't go early. He'll go around 5 or 6, I think. But he could blow up the combine for sure. He might run great 40, do a crazy vertical bench, everything there. He could dominate that and then, get talking.
Love hearing that. Next player, I believe that should be edge, Isaiah Smith from SMU, 6'4", 248 pounds. Dalton, what do you have on Isaiah Smith?
Oh, hold on. I think I had him on last week's.
Yeah, I think I forgot to cover him.
I'll jump in while Dalton's looking at his notes if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, I got to go to last week. Go for it.
So there's good and bad. The good is he has a long frame, 34-inch arms, excellent bend, good quick first step. Started out like gangbusters this offseason, and he is a pass rush specialist. It's the worry though is he's listed at 6'4", 240, and there's people who I've heard say he's closer to 235. He gets over. He's had tougher games in the last couple of weeks outside of the Boston College game where didn't produce as much. You wonder if he's getting just worn down because of the size. He needs work in his hand usage and counters. He's not going to be a guy who can shed double teams and heavier guards are going to beat him up. But he gets to the pass rush. I mean, his best game was 9 tackles and 4 sacks against Boston College where he just dominated. For the season, he has 29 tackles, 9 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He's a guy that right now is a situational special teams guy. Maybe you turn him into a linebacker. Maybe you can add some weight and see if he doesn't lose that quick first step. But the pass, as I said, the NFL is always trying to find guys who can get to the quarterback. So I have him right now as around a 4th round, 5th round grade. But depending on the scouting combine and if he goes faster, I could see him rise up to a 3rd round, especially if SMU actually gets into the playoffs, which they look like they might.
So, Dalton, did you find your notes from last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can blame the podcast host because we were supposed to cover him last week, and I forgot to include him in all the graphics. So that was all on me. So
it's all good. Yeah, I mean, 23.5 career sacks. He's been producing, not just this year. It's good to see. Had a sack against Louisville too. Has a sack and a half against Clemson. So he's done it against some good teams, good talent. He's really quick off the snap, and that's shown by his numbers. Great production, obviously. Good bend and flexibility. It's how he gets to the quarterback. High motor. He never gives up roughing the passer. But like Chris said, I think he's pass rush only. I think with his size being, most people say around 240, 235. Maybe you could develop into a linebacker instead of just a pass rusher because he's too undersized. He can't sit at the edge at all. He gets washed out really easy on runs. And I don't think he'll ever be able to change that unless he just moves a linebacker and starts dropping in the coverage, being able to cover guys. So right now I got around 5th or 6th grade. A little bit of a developmental player. But people always look for pass rushers. Maybe they can play him then.
Okay. Love hearing that on Isaiah Smith. That was definitely a player that was brought to my attention after we even started doing scouting reports. So I appreciate both of you being able to take a look at him. So another player we're going to talk about is Ja'Shawn Barham from Michigan. So he has time in his college career at linebacker. And I believe he was recruited as an edge, converted to linebacker, and then converted back to edge. So ironically, he was with the linebacker group. They said they didn't want to cover him. So we're including him with the defensive line group now. My questions are, what's the scouting report and what do you think Ja'Shawn Barham's best NFL position is, Dalton?
He's definitely a tweener. I think he's more of an edge for sure. He's not the best at diagnosing plays, and you need to be at linebacker. He has delayed reactions, and I think his coverage skills are definitely developing, and he can struggle to match up with quicker guys. And I don't think he's really going to get faster. I think he can get bigger though and get more bend and stuff around the edge. I think edge is the best spot for him.
Okay, Chris, how about you?
I disagree. He's a linebacker. Now he's not going to be a coverage linebacker in where you look at it like a Drew Tranquil, Patrick McQueen. Like he is that elephant linebacker. Harold Landry's perfect. He has a size and frame to bulk up a bit, but you're not sure if he is. He is a downhill runner. When he attacks, he brings pop. He brings a thump to there. He has good lateral quickness and range where we see him go sideline to sideline, usually attacking. And he has the strength to take on and shed blockers. It's, as I said, he's tough for him. As Dalton said, he doesn't have he's not great at diagnosing plays. Sometimes it takes a delayed reaction. He's still working on coverage skills. He really need to work on sometimes and taking the good angles to tackle the ball carrier. He goes for the headshot sometimes a little bit too much, and he does get caught peeking in the backfield, which he's been caught with play action. But when he's on, like against Nebraska, he was a force. 4 tackles, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hurries. For the season, he has 31 tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Like, you got to get creative with him. I could see him go round 5. I could see also go round 3 because he is a genetic freak. He looks the part. He walks in there and you go, that's a football player. That is a guy that we could make into something better. So I'd say around low round 3 to round 5, depending on how he does in the combine, depending on what teams look at him and go, we can make him a linebacker.
I feel like he's an Eagle or a Raven. There's just a part of me that says, like in a Fangio defense, he could line outside in like a wide 9, and he has some defensive linemen in to protect him. And then the Ravens, to me, they tend to like Michigan players. They drafted a Michigan edge a few years ago. I know he hasn't panned out, but there's just a part of me that says, like, those are teams that could unlock him. And if I say Ravens, then the Seahawks could take him too, because the Ravens' old defensive coordinator is in Seattle. So I could see that as well.
I could see like the Chargers and the Patriots because they will look at a guy like that and he's bigger. Harbaugh exactly knows what he is. So, Harbaugh will tap into that old, it's a Michigan man to know his strengths and know how to use them. Vrabel loves taller, bigger guys who are athletic and he can then work with. So, yeah, there's going to be coaches who love him for what he is. It's just he will drive coaches crazy, though, because there's still that learning of, okay, is this a run? Is it a pass? Can I break bad habits? I mean, you're going to have to really just work on making him a linebacker.
Yeah, it scares me a little. Kind of like a tweener like Isaiah Simmons. Everybody thought he was going to be great. Didn't have a position, though. So you got to have a position in the NFL. Hopefully he can find one and craft it.
Yep. So another player, Trey Moore from Texas, he was included with the linebacker group. Then the linebacker group says, no, we don't want to talk about him. So my understanding is Trey Moore has some linebacker experience. He has some edge experience. He is now with the defensive line group. Dalton, what do you have on Trey Moore from Texas?
Yeah, I think he's definitely better suited at edge. I mean, he just doesn't – he's like Barham against the pass, but he's even bigger and, less explosive and fast, I think. He has good bend around the edge, though, and he can turn the corner really well. He gets consistent pressure on the quarterback with a great first step, really good get-off. He has excellent stack and shed ability against the run. He has strong hands. He can disengage from blockers, and he can really set the edge against the run. You see a lot with them in this Texas defense. He's got lateral agility, change direction really well. He can be effective in zone coverage drops, just not man coverage really. He has really high motor, great pursuit, and great angles. He plays through the whistle. He makes plays from behind a lot. Pass rush, he has a variety of moves. He has a good rip move, swim. Bull rush is probably his best move, but being 250, it probably won't be as effective in the NFL. So he's going to have to develop more. But he has really good football IQ. He has good play recognition. He doesn't bite on play actions and misdirections hardly ever. But he is undersized a little bit for an edge rusher. He might struggle against, bigger offensive linemen. And he's not as dominant against the run as the pass, of course, being 250. I just think he needs better hand usage too. And I'm not high on him. I think I got like around 6 for him.
Okay, Chris, what do you have on Trey Moore?
It's sort of tough. He's the opposite of Barsham. Barsham is an athlete who you look and go, I can coach him up more. So it's boom or bust. Moore, what he is. He is, if they use him at a linebacker at edge, he he's smart. He knows what he is. Like, he is solid against a run. He is a guy who's never out of place. The motor is always running. You see him, even in on a lot of plays. He has 32 tackles, 3 sacks. He came up big in Kentucky with 5 tackles, 1 sack, and literally making sure that Kentucky wasn't able to, win in overtime. He has good bend. He has good flexibility. There's nothing in terms of, like, he's not the freak athlete. He's not going to beat you with speed. He's not going to bull rush you. He's undersized. I mean, there's going to be defense coordinators like Lou Amarillo, Spags. They will like him because, all right, we don't have to. There's a low floor. I mean, there's a high floor, low ceiling. All right, we know what he can't do, but we can work him around the system. He can, learn things. He is effective in zone coverage drops. He has good lateral agility. Probably to me, he's a round 5 grade. But again, there will be teams that love him because they know, okay, we're getting a smart football player. He's not going to do anything stupid. We don't have to teach him. He's a plug and play in terms of the right scheme as either just purely a coverage / pass rush guy.
So loved hearing that. One of the other things that I like that you guys did on the last 3 players, like, I think the last 3 players, the fact that they would have special teams value makes them a very viable day 3 player, right? Because it means that when you roster them in the 53, you will be able to dress them on Sundays. You'll be able to play them on Sundays. They're not just taking up a spot on the bench. So the next player, this one's interesting. So Anthony Lucas from USC, 6'5", 285. Chris, that 6'5", 285 isn't a misprint, is it?
No, he looks it. I mean, he is the perfect defensive end if you were building him in a lab. Unfortunately, he has a 7-foot wingspan. He has a good first step. He is violent hands. He is, you see the skills. Like, he's even shown a sophisticated pass rush. He's shown swim moves, rip moves. He has a spin move. He maintains position. He doesn't just go and freelance. He knows his assignment. It's just, you're looking at production, and it's like, it's the $1 million body, and it's the 10 cents sort of attitude. Like, there's times you look and it's like, okay, he is probably taking plays off when he's not in the action. This year you thought, okay, he's going to dominate, and it's 34 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. The only sack against against decent competition was against Nebraska. He just doesn't produce. I mean, maybe. And again, I know there's going to be some team that looks at him and they'll draft probably anywhere between 5 through 7 and go, we can get through to him, and he'll be that guy. We can just light the fire in him. It's just, you can't trust him. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's history. He's had injury concerns in the past. He missed time in 2024 with a high ankle sprain. It's just, there's something that just doesn't click where it's like, okay, take over, be consistent, get results, and he's never done that.
So Dalton, what do you have with Anthony Lucas, the edge from USC?
Yeah, coming into the year, I was excited about this guy. I thought he'd make round 2, round 3. But, he just hasn't produced like I thought. I mean, he's a freak. He looks like Sean Oakman from Baylor, or the guy. He reminds me of him, but he was undrafted as well, So you got to produce. You can't just look the part. But, I mean, 7-foot wingspan. He just draws passing lanes. If you don't get to the quarterback, just put your hands up, and it's hard to get it over you. He does have a great first step for his size. So you can put offensive tackles in their heels instantly. And flexibility for his size is crazy too. But it's like he has all the tools. But it just doesn't show up at the same time. He's just, I don't know. He's an all-talent player and no production. I think somebody will definitely take a swing on him just being 6'5", 285. But if you watch the film, he just never sticks out. It's like, dang, who's this big guy right here? Oh, he's not doing anything. So he might dominate the combine and make somebody fall in love, but he's definitely a project. round 4 or 5, I think.
Okay. Will Heldt from Clemson. So Clemson has 4 defensive linemen in this draft class. This isn't Peter Woods. This isn't TJ Parker. This is not DeMonte Capehart. This is Will Heldt. Okay. So there's 4. We have covered Will Heldt 2 other times already. I am curious, Dalton, what you think of Will Heldt, and out of the 4 Clemson defensive linemen, is he number 3 or is he number 4?
He's definitely not number 1 or 2. You're right, but he has more production. He does have more production this year. I mean, 6 sacks. It's more than Parker and Woods, right? I mean, production's there. You see it. I mean, it was a great decision to transfer from Purdue. He didn't fit the scheme at all. They had him dropping into coverage a lot. He didn't get the rush of the passer. So Clemson going to the portal for once. It actually worked out for both sides, even though the team didn't play as up to expectations. But he has really good length, 6'6", 260, prototypical size for an edge. I think he can get pressure inside or outside. I guess solid closing speed once he gets to the quarterback. He mixed pass rush moves. He could, spin, rips. He does all kinds of things. He just mixes them up. Good pass rush plan. And he gets off blocks. He can pursue plays down the line. And he does have experience dropping the covers. Like I said, last year they did it way more than they should have. But it's good because now he has a versatility if you want to drop him in coverage a couple times a game in zone, just throw some different looks. I think he can do that. He can set the edge in the run. He's solid. He's just nothing spectacular about him. He's not a super athlete. He's not going to test crazy well. He's not super strong. He's, average strength, average athleticism. But the production's there. I got him above Capehart, I think, for sure. I got him round 4, early round 4, late round 3 right now.
Okay. Chris, where are you on Will Heldt from Clemson?
He's one of the only Clemson player this season you can look and win. He had a good season. Like the production, effort. He's a hustle guy. He is relentless motor. He is. It's the sum of everything overcomes the tools. Like he's 6'6", he has long arms. He does not quit. He just goes after people. He has a mean streak in finishing plays. He is playing a ton of snaps. He averages 45 snaps a game. I've heard one scout comparing to Crosby Light in terms of the way he plays, the effort, not the power, but more the finesse, and he just hustles and goes after it. There's nothing great about him. That's the problem. It's that he lacks a go-to move. He's not explosive or powerful. He's effort. He's a hustle. He's a poor man's George Karlaftis. That's how I would put it. He does have 6 sacks and 35 tackles, and he had a sack in the LSU game, but there's no multi-sack games. There's no dominance. It's just the motor always goes. So yeah, he's probably around 5, 6.
Okay.
But again, he has something that teams love that you can't teach: desire and hustle. Because we've seen a lot of players who come in and it's just either they don't want to work hard, they don't try, or they give up. He will not do that. He will literally play from the first whistle to the end of a game.
Yep. And this year, I feel like we have a lot of day 3 very draftable edges. Right? Because already this is the 5th or 6th guy we've covered on the podcast today. Dalton, you said that you could see Heldt going round 3, but generally speaking, every player we've covered today is either day 3 or undraftable. Right? So this draft class is filled with a lot of guys, I would say, in this tier. Okay, and we said we're skipping Hutchins. Okay, Zion Young from Missouri, 6'5", 262. So I have seen a lot of different grades on Zion Young. There is a draft professor that has a first-round grade on Zion Young. I have seen other people put Zion Young day 3. I've seen other people put Zion Young day 2. So I don't know where Chris and Dalton have him, but this is like a box of chocolates. So, Chris, where is Zion Young in your box of chocolates?
Probably a third round grade. It's funny that he's the opposite of Damon Wilson Jr., who we're going to talk about. He is physical, powerful defensive edge who you look at him and he has raw strength, and he is 6'5", about 270. Excellent bend around the edge. He had a great game against Auburn, 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and he just bull rushed both Auburn tackles literally into the backfield. They've lined him up in multiple spots. He plays against a run, and he is exceptional anchor against a run. He has good violent hand strikes to the point where he will push guys back. For him, it's just he doesn't have the burst. He's not a fast guy. It's more power. He doesn't have a lot of counter moves, so that when his first rush gets stalled, it's like that's it. He's probably going to need to put more weight on because he is at 6'5", 270, bit leaner. Limited coverage, so you can't ask him to drop, but it'll be interesting. If he comes out right now, it's probably around 3 grade because teams get a little bit worried about the speed. But like Damon Wilson Jr., I could see them both go back to college because Missouri has a lot of sophomores. This team is gelled, and I could see them come out next year, and all of a sudden we're talking first round, grades for both him and Wilson.
So, Dalton, where are you on Zion Young?
I'm actually right with Chris right now. I got him round 3 at the moment. He's a solid player, really good length, obviously being 6'5". With the length, though, he brings active hands, and they really helps create separation, and he can control the point of attack. He's really good strength against the run. He has anchor. He can anchor even. Maintains gap integrity even against double teams, and being 265, whatever he is, it's pretty impressive. Most guys can't do that at his size. Really good motor, great pursuit. Every play, doesn't stop. Swim moves rips, and he has a spin move that he's developing. He hasn't used it a lot, but when he does, it's been pretty effective. Great bend around the edge for his size. Surprising flexibility and balance. And you get a lot of multiple spots along the defensive front. I think he can stand up 3-4 end, or he can play with his hand in the dirt. He has good instincts, diagnoses plays, rarely bites on mixed directions, and he has violent hands at the point of attack. But like Chris said, I think he does like a leap burst off the snap. Sometimes the tackles can't get their hands on him before he gets into his rush angle. And once his initial move stalls, he gets stonewalled, and he just gets stuck on blocks for the whole play, basically. And then late in games, his pad level gets high. I agree he could come back for sure. But we'll see. I mean, he might go to the combine and test it. Just being round 3. We'll see what he does, but I like him.
Okay. And then he has a teammate. Oh, and
Wilson.
It didn't load. Okay. So we'll get to Wilson in a minute. Let's do Gabe Jacas from Illinois. So 6'3", 270. Gabe Jacas, he trains with Lawrence Taylor's Taekwondo coach. We've covered Jacas several times in the channel for Illinois game previews. This is the 3rd podcast that we've done a detailed breakdown. Dalton, how high are you on Gabe Jacas?
I like him. 9 sacks this year, 25 career, 7 forced fumbles in his career, so he can get the ball out once he gets there. 3 of them this year, and he's a crazy athlete. His strength and power for his size is just crazy. 280. He benched 285 for 22 reps, and that was like 2 years ago. So I'm not telling what he's doing right now. And he just looks like he's been lifting since middle school. He has a wrestling background, and you can really see it with his footwork and his balance. And he never really gets wore out. He can play the whole game in the same way. Natural power, he can shed blockers with authority, and he can knock them back and even knock them on the ground at times and open up rushing lanes for the linebackers. He has great motor, like a lot of these guys this year. I think he can line up standing up or with his hand in the dirt as well, like a lot of these guys this year. So he can be scheme flexible. You can even line up, I think, D-tackle, maybe on pass rushing downs. I think he's got enough strength to do that, even with being 275. Especially with his burst off the line. I think he could do that. He's got discipline too. He's great at that, and he can really set the edge against the run. He rarely gets washed out, and he really plays. He really steps up in big games against the biggest opponents. You can really tell he's making a difference. The only thing I think is his pass rush repertoire is undeveloped a little bit. He relies on the bull rush a little too much, so he needs a little more counter moves. And his hand technique's inconsistent. He tries to just bully him sometimes instead of fighting with his hands. But I like him. I got a round 2 grade on him right now.
Oh, nice. So, Chris, are you as high on Gabe Jacas from Illinois as Dalton is?
I like him. Look, the wrestling. He is one of these wrestlers who comes in and understands like leverage, how to get under guys, how to push them back. In the Bruce Feldman freak list, benched 285 pounds 22 times. So, he's just physically just big, powerful. He's been a consistent performer this year. As you said, 39 tackles, 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Against Wisconsin, he had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble, even in losing effort. One of a few Illinois players who hasn't disappointed. Here's the thing. Their physical talent still is untapped. You still got to work on it in terms of developing his pass rush. What happens when you can't bull rush people? The hand technique is inconsistent. Sometimes he has trouble getting free from tackles. He doesn't have long arms, so these longer arm tackles will have their way with them. But you know what? There's room to grow. So yeah, probably around 3, maybe higher vote depending on the All-Star games. And look, he is a guy who you just look and go, if he's only 6'3", 267, he's this strong right now. What happens? We get another 15, 20 pounds on him, and we can maybe make him into like a 285-pound just mauler at defensive end.
Oh, if he's there in round 3, I would love for Buffalo to pick him up. He's exactly the size profile. Either him or Zion Young for Buffalo in round 3. That would make me very happy, other than the fact that we need way more than just an edge in round 3. Next player, so Dalton. This is somebody that is on your Florida Gators. Tyreak Sapp, 6'2", 274. I know the question coming into the season when we did the Florida breakdown in July was, is he an edge or is he a defensive tackle? I think that's been answered, but what do you think of Tyreak Sapp's draft stock now?
I mean, yeah, he's for sure an edge. He's definitely he's not going to put on enough weight to be a tackle, I don't think. And I don't think he should. He's just going to be a really good run stopping DN. I had higher expectations for him. I think most people did, but the whole team disappointed. It wasn't just him. I think it was a lot of coaching and leadership on that team led into that. He's a freak though, 6'2", 274. And he's one of those guys you look at and he's like another one of those guys. It's like he was built in the lab, man. Really strong and impressive guy. Only 1 sack this year, though. He hasn't produced. 10 for his career. He a lot better last year. I think he had 7 sacks. So he kind of fell off this year. Caleb Banks being hurt definitely made him get double teamed a lot more, but you still like to see him produce more than 1 sack. He does have great hand technique, though, and really good power at the point of attack. He can stack and shed blockers. His initial punch can move linemen backwards at times. He has great leverage against the run. Powerful base. He can maintain anchors against a double team. He did that against Texas A&M a lot in that game against their zone run scheme. He was the only guy really stopping them. They could run the other side at will, but they ran his side. It was 1 or 2 yard gain. He has great block recognition against the run. He can diagnose plays really quickly. He rarely gets caught up field and out of his gap. And converts speed to power when engaging with tackles, but that's the thing about his pass rush. That's about all he has right now. If he's not able to bull rush him, he's pretty much struggling the whole play. So he's great against the run, not great against the pass. I got a round 4 grade on him. I think before the year, I was thinking round 2. Maybe you can move us around 1, but his stock's definitely dropped a little bit.
Chris, what is your scouting report on Tyreak Sapp from Florida?
Man, he's dropped. I mean, I remember earlier in the year going to CBS and NFL.com, and people are like, first round grade on him. He's gonna be great. Because he stops to run. He is physical. He's big. And then the season started, and when I've complained about Clemson players dropping, Tyreak Sapp has been another guy where it's like, God, this is just bad. Look, he's physical. He's an edge setter. He understands how to diagnose plays. It's just his first step explosiveness is like adequate. Doesn't have much of a rush plan after the first move. Not really fast. Doesn't have a lot of burst. And this year it's 33 tackles, 1 sack. I'd be worried if he doesn't. He might fall around 6 or 7. I mean, because you wonder, like, okay, how the hell do you only have 1 sack as a Florida Gator this year? You should have more. There should be more. And I get it. Banks was injured, so it hurt the rest of the defensive line. But you just worry that Sapp is just a guy who's just a guy.
Okay.
The teams have ran the ball a lot against Florida, man. We got blown out quite.
So we have a couple players left. One is R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma, edge 6'2", 249 pounds. There were some people projecting him in round 1 coming out of the summer. Chris, where are you on R. Mason Thomas right now?
I want to like him a lot because when I see the tape, there's a lot to like. He natural bend, he is just like David Bailey. He goes after a quarterback and he can run them down and get after him. He rest of the year so far, 23 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He was one of the big reasons they won that game against Auburn. 4 tackles, 2 sacks. They had him as 4 quarterback pressures. He goes after him. He's pretty good. And technique, he gets. We've seen him as run defense is competent, not great. He's for his size, 6'2", 245. He plays bigger than he is. The big problems with one is the undersized, which wouldn't bother me because I love a lot of undersized guys. The counter moves, he relies a lot on pure speed. Pure ability. Like again, this year he's missed the last 3 games due to ankle problems. He missed last year due to ankle problems. So that's the concern. Like, if you're not healthy, why are you on the team? Like, if you're always in the trainer's room, that's a problem. And he's not disciplined. He goes hunting for sacks a lot. He will try to either go inside, go around, and next thing you know, the quarterback can escape. He can go anywhere between round 2 to round 4. I tell him to go back to college, though, because he needs to prove, can you stay healthy for a full season? Because that's the worry. Like, again, the talent is around a low 1 to 2. But if you're always injured, then you can't trust a guy like that. That's why, for now, I have him as a round 4, just because, again, another ankle sprain that's missed 3 games, 4 games. If this is happening in college, what the hell is going to happen in the pros?
Dalton, how about you? What are your thoughts on R. Mason Thomas?
Yeah, the first thing is, I think if you watch Oklahoma film and you try to watch somebody else, you're going to end up watching R. Mason Thomas on accident. It's just anytime they rush the passer or anytime the other team throws the ball, he's in the backfield almost every time. The first step, it creates immediate separation from tackles. He forces rush kick steps that compromises the angles and the timing of the tackles. He has great bend around the corner. Great balance, too, through his hips. You can maintain torque through his hips the whole time. His hand fighting technique is surprisingly advanced for his age, and his effective long arm moves, and he has good swipes too that can counter his 6'2" frame. I think he overcome that at times. His closing speed to quarterbacks is very, very good. It's like he shot through a cannon when he's about to get the sack. It's hard to get away from him, even the fastest quarterbacks. Great motor too. He has multiple pass rush moves on per play. If the first one doesn't work, he'll go for another one, and he'll consistently work to get in the backfield. The play strength, I think, is deceptive. You wouldn't think he's that strong, but he can anchor against bigger bodies against the run at times, and he can squeeze through running lanes, despite being undersized. Great field awareness, especially rushing the passer mostly. You get great rush depth and a lot of moves, but he is undersized. I think he's closer to 240 than 250. So he's going to be, 60-plus pounds to some tackles, and the injury history is there. But just being a player, I think he'll go. I got around 2 grade on him, actually.
Okay. And then
I guess here would be my question for you, Dalton. I was going to just say quickly to Will Dalton, if you're an NFL GM vote and you're going, he's missing games. Like, do you worry about that? But this ankle thing might be like, if it's happened last year, it's happened this year. Like, do you worry that this could be something that haunts him for most of his career? Like, he can't stay healthy.
I mean, it definitely raises some red flags. You got to worry about his durability and his availability for sure. And you don't have to do that for a guy second round. I get that, but if he, they'll do the medicals and all that at the combine. And if it checks out, it'll be round 2. I think just talent based. I mean, if it says, "Oh, this is going to be a problem forever," then yeah, he'll definitely drop to around 4 or 5.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Actually, both of your scouting reports were identical. The only difference is how you choose to value ability versus availability when you grade. Because the ability is definitely a top 75, almost a top 50 player, right? Ability-wise, it's there, and this is the type of player NFL teams look for to play edge, right? But to your point, if you're not available, medicals are going to have to check out at the combine, right? For him to go top 50, medicals are going to have to check for him. So I think, Chris, that's a very excellent question. And then we have 2 players left. Quincy Rhodes from Arkansas. I think we covered him the first week that Dalton was out. So I think I know what Chris is going to say already. So I'm going to go with Dalton first, and then Chris, you can close out Quincy Rhodes. Dalton, what do you have?
Yeah, I haven't watched much, Arkansas defense except until I watched this guy because their defense is just one of the worst, probably the worst power forward defense in the country. I think this guy's the only stud on the whole defense, so he gets double teamed a lot. You can see the talent there. Great size, 6'6", 275, prototypical. Great frame, arm length is there, of course. He has a really good spin move. I think it's his signature weapon. He had 2 sacks against Memphis, and he had he made a lot of tackles look silly with the spin move this year. His long arm bull rush is really good. He maximizes his arms, and his versatility to slide inside on passing downs, I think, too, with this size, and it can create mismatches in the passing game. I think his closing burst is a surprise this year. He covers ground with his long strides, and he's deceptively fast, I think. His pass rush repertoire seems to be expanding like throughout the year, every week almost. Like he mixes up club swims and cross chops, and it seems like every week he just gets more confident with those moves. And you can tell he's in the film room too, like the way he attacks different teams and tackles. He has a plan against like different guys. He has different plans. And it's impressive to see at his age. His run defense is good too. He can hold steady, I think. He can maintain gap discipline, and he can get big plays at times too in the backfield. But I think there's some questions too. His first step explosiveness, definitely a question. I think he runs more with his technique and then his burst and athleticism. And his pad level being 6'6", it wavers a little bit. When he's tired and late in games, he plays a little high. But the sample size is not the biggest either. He's kind of a rotational guy, and he doesn't have many games of elite production, and his first 2 seasons are quiet. So he's definitely more of a project, but talent's there. think he's going to have a pretty good combine. And I got a round 3 grade on him, late round 3.
Okay. Chris, what do you think of Quincy Rhodes from Arkansas right now?
There are games I'll watch him, and I will go, he's a franchise player, top 5. There are also games I'll watch him, and he's a 4th, 5th round. I mean, you look at it, this is what's, if Steve Spagnuolo and Joe Cullen decide to have, the perfect defensive end, they could just pull from a lab. This would be their guy. He is 6'6", 276, long arms. He has a pretty damn good closing burst for a guy his size. He has a lot of pass rush moves. There's club swims. There's cross chops. He's attacked defensive tackles, so they've lined him up inside. There's games where he's disciplined, and there's games like in the Auburn game, 5 tackles, 2 sacks. He leads. He has 8 sacks for the season. Leads the SEC in QB pressures. It's just, again, it's the pad level consistency. Okay, late in games he gets fatigued. The physicality comes and goes. It's either boom or bust. You're going to need a defensive line coach like a Joe Cullen, like I forget Denver Broncos defensive line coach, somebody who can get through them and go, you need to practice every day. You need to go every day. And I get it. There's going to be some team he is right now for me a day 3 grade. I think he could go though first round because some team, whether it's the Broncos, the Chiefs, they will look at him after probably the combines and everything, and they'll go, Jamar Cain can get through to him. Joe Cullen will get through to him. And next thing you know, this is Zach Allen. This is Chris Jones. This is the guy we can build around if we just get through to him.
Yep. Love hearing that. Okay, so Quincy Rhodes. Okay, so let's give me a minute. So there's Damon Wilson. Okay, so Damon Wilson Jr. from Missouri, 6'4", 250. My understanding is he has another year of eligibility left. So there's a chance that he goes back to school. But Chris, if he is in this draft class, what is your scouting report for Damon Wilson Jr.?
Pure pass rusher. He is my favorite pass rusher outside of David Bailey. You look at him and, man, when he is on, he is just in terms of pass rush, he is a first-round grade for me pass rush-wise. He is freakish athlete. He is a guy who is 6'4", 260 and runs like an inside linebacker. Alabama game. He was terrorizing both Caden Proctor and the right tackle for Alabama in terms of he had 3 tackles, 2 sacks, and literally chasing Tyler Simpson all over the damn place. He is explosive first step. He will run people down. We saw this game against Oklahoma. His sack ran outside, ran inside, chased down John Mateer, and still hauled him down. He has advanced pass rush techniques. He has long arms, around 34-inch arms, relentless motor. Problem is he doesn't play the run that much. Missouri uses him basically as just an elephant edge where he goes, your job is go after the quarterback. Don't worry about the run. That's Zion Young's job. Just go after it. And I've seen plays where they'll take him off of its running plays and have another defensive end. At 6'4", 260, probably more around 255. He's lighter. It's just he's around 2-3. Could he go round 1? Probably not, because the teams will be afraid of a run. The key for him is going to be like Zion Young. Do you bet on yourself? I mean, Missouri is loaded with defensive talent. They have Ahmad Hardy, who's a sophomore next year, Jeremiah Trotter. So, again, I could see them come back, and next year, if he proves he can be in a run, we're talking top 10 pick, Damon Wilson of a second.
Okay. So, Dalton, where are you on Damon Wilson Jr. from Missouri?
Yeah, I think I'm not quite as high. I definitely like him as well. I think he's a good pass rusher, but that's definitely all he is. You know, he has only 7 solo tackles, and 8 sacks. So he's not going to produce much in the run game, but he's definitely going to get out the passer. His athleticism is crazy. Really good, really explosive, agile. So his length is decent. You know, his pass rush arsenal is there. He's got a lot of different moves. Good closing burst. You know, he can finish the plays. He can finish the sacks once he gets there. And I really like his ceiling. But I think he should come back for sure. This year's class, there's just so many guys similar to him. You know, it seems like we talked about 20 guys this year that are about 6'4", 250 that are just pass rushers that can't set the edge. And so, like, you really want to come out this year and put your name with all those guys and what's separating them? You know, your all-star games, combine, interviews, and be that kind of stuff. So I think if he comes back, it'd be better for his future, and he could be a first-rounder next year.
Yeah, so I had heard from others that the grade on Damon Wilson Jr. was return to school because I had originally removed him from this podcast just based upon that. And then when we spoke backstage, you guys said that you wanted to talk about him.
Because the pass rush is just, like, again, go back to that Alabama game. That'll get scouts mouth-watering where he's just 2 sacks, blows by Caden Proctor. It's like, God damn it. Maybe we'll put it up. I mean, imagine he finds his way down to the Eagles or he finds his way down to Baltimore. And it's like, oh, God damn it. How did the hell did this team get him? And they'll find a way to make him just like that designated pass rusher who gets 15 sacks and everybody's going, how the hell? But, yeah, it's a risk because you can't play the run.
So, Chris, did you have anything on the player that you mentioned in the chat? Because I don't have any screens for him, but we can still talk about him.
Yes, Hero Kanu, who, shout out to Anthony Russo, has been just bombarding us with Hero Kanu. The story's remarkable. This is a guy who was a high school soccer player in Germany, turned to football. He is, I mean, 6'4", 305. And for a guy his size, he is just defensive back like a fluidity in terms of that quick first step, the bend, sideline to sideline. This is his first year as a full-time starter, transferred over after winning a national championship for Ohio State, comes to Texas. And in terms of, you know, the pure athletic freak ability, it stands out. Like, he is 15 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, had a great game against Mississippi State, 4 tackles and a sack, and he was in the backfield a lot. It's just, God, he is raw. Like, he'll flash dominance and then he disappears because he's still learning how to play football. Earlier in the season, we saw, you know, he needed time to adjust to the SEC physicality. Still is raw with his hand placement, his technique. You could tell that football was not like a sport that he grew up with. But if he comes out, and again, this is another guy who might, you know, stay in school because Texas, they have money, and next year with Arch Manning, they'll be a national championship contender. If he comes out, he's probably a round 5 defensive tackle, but just again, it's everything else in terms of this, you know, 6'4", 305, athletic, former soccer player. So you know that the athletic ability is there. You're just going to harness it.
Dalton, did you have anything on Hero Kanu?
Yeah, pretty much what he said, though. I mean, he only played football for 2 years in high school, so I think it's impressive that he even got an offer from Ohio State. So that's crazy. Really raw, though, like you said. I mean, his athleticism is there, the soccer background. You can see it with his agility and his quickness. He can take on a double team and still get pushed at times, but he's definitely raw. I think he's a guy that'll come back for sure next year. If he doesn't, I think he's late, round 6 probably, not too early.
Okay. So that concludes all the different defensive linemen that we were going to cover. So we have covered about, do I have a week count on I'm looking at my spreadsheet. I didn't count the number of weeks. I want to say that this was the 10th week of covering 8 players, but it may have only been the 9th week of covering 8 players. Like, we've gone through somewhere between 72 and 80 defensive linemen. Next week, you guys want to do like an edge board? Who are your top ed? What are the rankings of any edges that you have in rounds 1 through 5?
I'm down for that.
1 through 5, okay. Yeah,
Cool.
sounds good.
Yep. So, Chris, you want to let everybody know about your Last Call podcast and the other content that you make?
Yes, you can check me out, thelastcallpodcast.com. I'm also on I have a YouTube channel and Rumble. I'm on X, Last Call WChrisC. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. We just dropped an interview with Marcel Dorf where we talked UFC Qatar results, who Ilia Topuria might fight next, and then also talked about the Ronda Rousey going nuclear on UFC fans and Joe Rogan. And also, once again, always honor, pleasure being on the show and learning, just having you guys drop some knowledge on me.
Oh, love having you on, Chris. So thank you for helping out on Mondays. Dalton, you want to let everybody know about Home Squad Sports and the things that you do?
Yeah, we do live show every week, every Monday, Wednesday. Monday at 12, Wednesday at 8. Getting into recruiting a lot right now. Always dropping stuff with that. I'm going to have a quarterback board and a lot of other positions. And then we got an interview coming up, a lot of interviews actually, but the next one's Brett Kolajay. He's a 4-star center going to USC. So if you're a USC fan or just a football fan in general, check that interview out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. So if you have a chance, give Chris and Dalton a follow. Go on Twitter, give them a follow. Draft Professor cannot put this content out without Chris and Dalton showing up Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern and just going through players. And every Draft Professor podcast is doing what we just did, just with a different position. Also want to take a moment and plug the Draft Professor Simulator. It is a simulator like no other. If Chris goes in and does a mock draft for the Chiefs, and then Dalton goes in and does a mock draft for the Giants, if I go after them and I do a mock draft for Buffalo, there's a really good chance that the players Dalton picked for the Giants will be taken by the Giants, and the players that Chris took for the Chiefs will be taken by the Chiefs when I do my Bills mock if another team hasn't drafted them sooner. So the simulator is interactive, and that means that you're mock drafting against the choices of other people. You're not really mock drafting against the big board. That's what makes it unique. There's advanced mock drafts. We will be discussing all of those advanced mock drafts on podcasts here real soon. But for Dalton, for Chris, for myself, for the 110 people at Draft Professor, thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy your Monday night. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on a podcast again tomorrow, everybody.